Steph. Welcome back to the Cantina. I wanted to do this live stream for most of the day. My basil plants are huge. I mean, the green one is got to be that big. And there are like tons of it. So I'm probably going to be making a lot of pesto and handing it out all over the neighborhood. I've got a bunch of little pine nuts, uh, bought a bunch of Parmesan cheese, have some really good Italian olive oil. So that's what I was doing. Shot the new 365, got it in 380, perfect. Just that gun is a real joy to shoot. Okay, it's a really nice pistol, and I'm really liking carrying it. It was worth the money buying it. But I still want my old one. I have a first generation SIG 365 and 9mm that I like carrying too. And it'd be nice to get that back on its feet. It's got a dead trigger. So it's got to go to the gunsmith. Anyway, I'll talk about that. So this morning, the first thing I saw today was a story from Inside the Magic, which is a shill site. These people love Raylo and they love the sequel trilogy. Oh, the Disney Star Wars Hotel is just fantastic. They got this chick named Rebecca Barton who probably writes erotic fan fiction about Kyle Ron. Okay, I mean, and a bunch of college students, like Star Wars Direct does, writing for them. And I am not a fan. Anyway, but I look to see what they're writing and see what's going on, because you can glean a lot of intelligence by reading what they're putting out there. And part of what you, again, like I've said before, if you're a newbie, I really look for the subtle subtext of everything when it comes to Kennedy, Favreau, Filoni, the sequel trilogy being decanonized or retconned or put into a different timeline so we don't have to deal with it anymore. I look at a lot of it, and I look for the subtext because it can tell you a lot more about what's going on if you start thinking about it. And I look for what people are doing. All right, this is what we know. So if you're a newbie, I'm going to give you a little bit of a, we're going to go through a timeline. Okay, I do this at least once a week for everybody to refresh their memories, because I write everything down. What was it? In early June, Peter Rice was fired. Shocked the shit out of everybody. Funny enough, Pablo Hidalgo doesn't seem to be too fazed by that. And personally, I don't think the guy realizes, okay, that was a BFD. Okay, it was a BFD. Because it basically told everybody that is in upper management and upper, the vice president stuff, which Kennedy's equivalent at Lucas, her leadership spot at Lucasfilm is like one step below Peter Rice. Okay, Peter Rice was the leader of the wokosos, as Polly likes to say. Stuffed shirt, faux intellectual, Labor Party British, public school boy with a lot of guilty white bullshit and probably gay. Okay, and he was very keen on attacking the boss in a publicized memo about a cross element about the Florida Parental Rights Act. Okay, he got fired. He walked in on a Monday evening after work, and JPAC took 7 minutes to say, "Get your shit and get the fuck out of here. There's the door. I never want to see your ass around here again." That came out a few days after it happened. And it teary-eyed, "I'm sorry. I had so much fun at Disney. And I really wish I wasn't going, but I must," that kind of shit. Okay. Then we started thinking, all right, if Chapek felt safe enough to get rid of him, then he's either already signed an agreement, a contract extension, or he's got an agreement and it's coming. Well, in what was it? I can't remember. It's like what, mid-June? No, the early part of July. Came over. I looked it down at my email, and I went, and I called Cameron, like like that. Passed the note around to everybody. Chapek got his contract extended for 3 years, with the full support of the board and the chairman of the board, Susan Arnold. So that's where we are. Okay, now while or before the news about Chapek came out, Kathleen Kennedy showed up in Portugal with her husband. Okay, then she was in Spain, Ibiza, Spain. Then they went to Mallorca. Um, then they went to Provence to sip the new rosé coming out because it's rosé season, and all the elite people. It's one of those things they do. Hi, Mexican Iron. Hi, Mike. How you doing? And she's in England. I believe still. Last thing I saw is they were at Waterloo Station. So who knows? I mean, they're in London, so she might be getting the Acolyte getting ready to film. She might be hiding. Regardless of that, okay. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? WW Pro came out with the numbers for Kenobi. Now, I love the show. I don't think it gets treated fairly. It did not break canon. Obi-Wan is not a cuck in it. I thought it was very well done, and I could tell George had a lot to do with it. Okay. The numbers were not good. The numbers were really not good. And Kennedy is nowhere to be seen. She's not in California, not at Burbank, asking why the fuck this happened. Now, we know why. Mike and I could talk about this ad nauseum. Part of the reason is because her name as executive producer was on the show. And I don't care what anybody says. If her name is on something for Star Wars, no, I didn't, but if they're leaving for over a month. Hey, David. Oh, I was right, Mike. I knew they were gone for a long time. Oh, this is convenient for her. Okay, I don't care if it's a trip and they're having fun. Maybe she is doing stuff at Lucasfilm there. Still, she should be in Burbank dealing with the fallout of these numbers. Okay, but let's go back. She is mud. The fans, her name is repellent to the fandom. Okay, you can go on Twitter, and there's a guy named Akiro whining about wishing he could see the sequel trilogy characters, that they should go more into that. And Star Wars, the social media pushed it. Then we got Star Wars Holocron celebrating patricide and shit like that. Just look, they're doing everything they can to piss the fans off. I'm telling you this right now. Okay? Shit is going down behind the scenes. Now, the way this is going to play out, if they're not back, look, it is, June 23rd? We got about, another 7-8 days of this month. They've been gone a month. I expect, I really do now, that her little hide and seek game is over. I really don't. I mean, I'm mean, okay, and Michael attests to that. I'm mean. I'm hoping I'm right, Mike. It just feels like It just feels like there's something going on. Okay, it really really does. Um, anyway, I find it fascinating with all this going on. The numbers come out. She is not at Lucasfilm now. She could be at Lucasfilm England, but if Chapek wants to have that heart to heart talk with her and saying, Kathy, I'm not asking you to resign. I'm telling you to. You get till October, that you'll get your 10 years. I'm telling you to. I actually can see that right now. Okay. Nothing she has worked on, even if it was good, has been successful. All right. I mean, we got, people screaming that the sequel trilogy made money, made Disney money. You know, I had one dildo asking if TFA made money. Yes, it did. That movie, you look at the numbers, you crunch the numbers, and you know that they brought netted, which is profit. They brought back about $700 million or so, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know, but 2.06 billion. And I don't know how much. I forgot how much that movie cost. I saw the list, and it was made before COVID. And you look at the budget, and if they don't go over, then you take half the budget, and you add marketing to that, and that's how much it costs to make and market it. And then the movie goes to distributors and exhibitors, the theaters, and they get their take. Okay, I highly suggest going to Valiant Renegade's channel when you can, and he breaks down how money is made, okay, in movies, because a lot of people don't understand, okay. And it's on the good guy's side, it's on our side, but the other side really doesn't know how it's made. You've got people that actually think the sequel trilogy merchandise sold. Meanwhile, you can go into any alleys and see racks of Rays, because I've heard all over the place, not just mine, but in California, in Texas, Georgia, Wisconsin, you name it, Ray, racks of Rays that were put out as basically only for only for Walmart exclusives. TLJ Rays, 3 and 3/4 inch, and get ready, TFA Rays. Okay, so this disenchantment was already started. Now, when we start talking about, I can't remember how long ago this was. I think it was like last summer, a year ago last summer, that Doomcock started talking about he'd been hearing that there's a serious effort by Favreau and Filoni to ditch the sequel trilogy somehow. We've been talking about it, and there have been indications. WW Pro talked about it. Cameron Pasha talked about the possibilities, and that he had heard it. No, he's talking to Mexican Iron Man. I have heard it from him, that he had heard it from Favreau's own employees that work for him, that he didn't like the sequel trilogy and was horrified by it. So this isn't something new, but shill sites like Inside the Magic, with its Queen of the Raylos, Rebecca Barton, every time she'll post a picture of Adam Driver and squee all over the place, and I'm looking for a barf bucket, because that guy's just, hey, look, I think he's hideous. I think he's one of the ugliest human beings I've ever seen in my life. And I really don't understand how he got to be in movies, beyond the fact that he kind of resembles the kid, the douchebag from Twilight, skinny, pasty, giant nose. Hey, Grandmaster Jim. I am too. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this article and I'm going, if it's getting out to the point where Inside the Magic is reporting it, then people must have been talking about this at at San Diego Comic Con. Let me tell you something. They did not exhibit anything from Lucasfilm. Nothing for Indiana Jones 5. The only Star Wars stuff they had was they had that BIPOC chick posing with Darth Vader because she actually believes strongly that her show is going to be made. Now, maybe it is, I don't know. But if past is prologue, I don't see Kareem Daniel and Bob Chapek going ahead with it. I'm telling you that right now. And if they do, it might be part of the agreement to get Kennedy the fuck out. Okay? Sooner rather than later. Okay? But this show's not, I mean, this is me. You're throwing good money after bad now. Anybody here want to see The Acolyte? Put a 1 in the chat. Because I guarantee you no one is going to want to see it. Put a 1 if you do, a 2 if you don't. Okay? No one wants to see this. No one cares about it. Okay? It's based on a series of novels written by basically, when I see these people together, and I mean the High Republic, which is the only thing they talked about. Based on the High Republic, when I see that the authors of the High Republic together, it looks like a social justice Klan meeting. Okay? I mean, that's what it does. It looks like a social justice Klan meeting. You got your morbidly obese, gender fluid chick, the confused Claudia Gray. You got your teeny tiny, angry racist Daniel Jose Older. You got your angry, probably lesbian black chick, Justine Ireland, and the 2 gay guys. Kevin Scott, Charles Soule. They were there. There were 2 other guys there. And when I get further into this, I'm going to tell you something. And I'm probably, when I remember the guy's name, because a friend of mine who does, he's a freelance, he works on set design. And he actually worked on GoldenEye, James Bond GoldenEye, which is one of my favorites. He was the one that basically said Sophie Betcher was going to be the set designer for The Acolyte. And I was like, no, nah, she's not doing that. This is, and I thought hopefully it would be for Ahsoka. But no, they announced it. There she is. Look, he doesn't know what to think about me. I'll talk about that in a second. But there's something going on with all of this, with him, because it looks to me like there was a guy on that panel yesterday that had his job, okay? All right, and I mean it. I think they're phasing Pablo out. Okay, I really, really do. But I'll talk about that in a second. Because he and I went round and round, and I let him have it. He was mocking Bob Chapek. And I'm like, look, the guy just got another 3-year extension. And, hey, Jedi Mistress, you seem pretty confident. And if you don't think, look, this guy attacked Star Wars Theory and the fans, and then had to turn around and apologize. I heard Iger and Chapek had a discussion about him. If you do such a stupid thing like that you get the chairman of the board, Bob Iger at the time, and Bob Chapek, the CEO, having to stop what they're doing to acknowledge your stupidity, you are a fuck up of of huge proportions. Like, you know, so I am wondering what's going on with him. It's almost like he wants them to fire him at this point. That's, look, when people do shit like that, they want attention. And they don't care what kind of attention it is. I feel strongly he wants to be fired. Yeah, but those are the two big dogs and they run the company. Now, if you did something stupid and got Kennedy's attention, you got, Michelle Rejwan's attention or somebody else. I understand that, Mohsen Gupta. But when you get the attention of the chairman of the board and the CEO, Lalu, I'll be up in a little while. Lalu, my husband. You really managed to fuck up. Okay, that's what he did. But back to this. So we've got Shells now acknowledging the sequel trilogy. It's controversial. It's only controversial to the 5 people who still like it. Okay. Molly Damon, the beta cuck that she's married to, and that rabble, okay? And there are 5 billion bots on Twitter. Okay, that's it. No, I mean, kids aren't interested. They didn't want the toys. And to get a web site like Inside the Magic, all right, and the guy that posted it is not exactly, he's actually a better reporter than Rebecca Barton. Okay, which wouldn't be hard. My dog would be a better reporter. Wouldn't you? Here, you guys want to see him? Koji Bear? He's wet. I chased him with the hose. He looks like a little bear that went swimming. We had fun. I was monkeying around in my garden, so he was out there and I got him good. Anyway, for it to be, for Inside the Magic to acknowledge the sequel trilogy is not worthy of Star Wars. Read the article. It's on the upload that I put up earlier this morning. To acknowledge that it's the use of controversial is being nice. It's trash. Most of the fans think it's trashy. Again, Twitter's the only place that you'll find people liking it. And on Instagram. It's just really interesting to me to see that there. And the fact that they're actually they're actually talking about something that we here in the cantina, Doomcock, Cameron, Midnight's Edge, etc., everyone's been talking about since last summer. Okay, now, I gotta tell you this. I believe that the stuff that she wanted to do was, they were planning on taking it away from her anyway. And when the rumors came out about Indy 5, it happened like that. All right. So this is what I think, because I want you guys to be able to go and watch Doomcock too. This is what I think is going on. I believe that it's a very convenient trip to be in Europe. Okay. I believe it's very convenient. Okay. And I don't think Bob Chapek would fire her through email. I might. I might just get sick of it and say to my assistant, send this to her. Okay? I'm done. I don't even want to talk to her anymore. Okay? I gotta get John freed up so he can fix what was broken. Okay? I'm uh I'm that person. Okay? I'm not nice about that stuff. I'm more of a Miranda Priestley in that regards. You know, um, if you can't do the job and you're running away from the inevitable, I gotta can you. Okay, Lucasfilm doesn't have any leadership right now. She has flown the coop. Now again, she could be working out of London. Okay, perfectly fine. They also could be staying at some lord's castle and, pretending they're. I mean, her greatest dream is to be a white British aristocratic woman. Look at Daisy Ridley. Look at what's her face that played Jen Erso. All right, look at that. Look at that horrible feminazi she grabbed to play whoever she's playing in Indy 5. All right, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I mean, that's who. Those are Kennedy's avatars. Okay, she wants to be considered in that league. Okay, doesn't. I mean, she's as Irish as the day is long. Her name is Kennedy. All right, so, but anyway, it's very interesting to me that, and it's very convenient that she's gone now. Okay, we don't know the deets of the trip. Okay, we don't. She could be. It could have been a trip that was planned for years. She is 69 years old, and she is, you know, they probably planned this. And I mean, that's probably what happened. But because I don't believe in coincidences, I find it fascinating that Rice gets fired, Kenobi's numbers come in. They knew those numbers right away. Okay. She mysteriously shows up in Portugal, and then it's announced Chapek's contract has been renewed for 3 years. And they're not going to be back until the end, until sometime in August. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm probably wrong, but I wouldn't doubt we hear of her retirement announcement. If not in October, they'll announce it as after Indy 5. But because October 31st is her 10th anniversary, being the head of Lucasfilm, it seems kind of an understandable place to put the Dasenda, okay? That's what I think. Then we have this article showing up on a website that is not allied to the good people of the fandom, saying, well, they could do the Mandoverse, and they're really not going to change or retcon the sequel trilogy. But then it says, the headline is, coming up with a new sequel trilogy. Then you read it, and the guy makes excuses like, what was that? He says, the sequels have made Disney a ton of money. No, it didn't. No, they didn't. And that's probably where I, draw the line and go, God, do you eat? I mean, who taught you to balance your checkbook? I mean, how? They didn't. They didn't. Okay, everybody knows that. And you look at Bob Iger and go, you had George Lucas. You had his script treatments. You shit canned them. Because They were too deep in the lore, and of course, they wanted to get as far away from the bad prequel trilogy as possible. Guess what? Sequel trilogy is so bad that it made a lot of people re-examine the prequels, and now they love them, like me. Okay? So I'm gonna go because I know Doomcock is getting ready to come on. You guys have a good afternoon, but I want you to think about this. Yeah, you're right, Peter. I want you to think about this. My favorite is that they invested so much they're not going to get rid of it. They can put it in a different universe. All right, and never look at it again. I mean, I think that's what they're probably doing. Ahsoka goes into the world between worlds, and voila, everything's different. All right, thank the Force. Anyway, I gotta go, and you guys have a good evening. Have fun. I might stop by Doomcock and just see what he's talking about, but I also might end up oh yeah, just Mike. I'll see you there. I might end up watching a movie. See you guys around the galaxy.